Welcome to the Michele Roys Show.
Hello and welcome to another Michele Roys Show. I am delighted to have a special guest today. Her name is Mo Cooper, and she is a coach, a health, lifestyle, and nutrition coach, founder of the Mo Mind, Body, Soul. After losing more than 65 pounds and keeping it off for over 16 years, Coach Mo has made it her mission to help women stop dieting and start truly living. She's going to go through her signature 5-pillar method: mindset and time management, nutrition, stress management, movement, and sleep and recovery. She teaches busy women how to create real, lasting health one step, one simple action at a time. Mo, you're very, very welcome to this show. Thank you for being here. How are you
Thank you
today?
so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here. This is so great. We've been threatening this for years, it feels like. And
I
here we
know.
are.
I'm
That's
so
great.
grateful to have you here. It has been ups and downs, but we made it happen. And I'm so delighted to have you. You're always such an energy, full of energy, which is amazing to have. And I think my listeners would love to hear what you have to say. You have an amazing story, Mo. You know that, right?
I guess I am really learning to embrace my story. And I think that's really important for women to really not brush over the trials we've had. And we don't want to live in victim mentality, but it's so important to embrace the challenges you've overcome,
Mm.
the accomplishments you've had, because we're so quick to celebrate others and to dismiss our own wins and achievements. And so that's something I've really leaned into over the past several years. After I turned 50, I'm like, you know what? Look at you go, girl. And there's nothing wrong with that.
That's
I'd
it.
say it to you, so why not say it to me?
Yeah, that's so important. And I actually would love to give our listeners a little bit of background on your story because I think it's such a powerful story. So, Mo, you were diagnosed with MS. Can you bring us back
Yes.
to that time?
Multiple sclerosis, yes. It's 1999 and everyone's freaking out over Y2K. And I was I was in my office and I felt like my right leg wasn't really working all too good. And my boss said, "Did you hurt yourself?" And I said, "No, it's like the right side of my body's not communicating with the left side of my body." The funny thing was my brother was very computer savvy. This is 99. And so I messaged him. I said, "Hey, what do you know about MS?" And I don't even know how this came up. And he goes, "Oh, I know a little bit. Why?" And I said, "Well, I've been having these sensations." He goes, "Oh," because he worked for a chemical company, so he knew about
Mm.
diseases and stuff too. And he goes, "Oh, I thought you meant Microsoft." And I was like, "No, multiple sclerosis." So that was on a Wednesday, and by Saturday, I'm in the shower and I can't. It's the weirdest thing when you can't, like, I'm washing my hair.
Mm.
And this side of my body is going half the rate of this side. I mean, I can't
Mm.
even do that on purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, long story short, I went to the hospital and they did a CAT scan. They said, "Well, you either have MS or a brain tumor." I
Mm.
was like, "Well, buy me some lottery tickets." I'm feeling lucky. Thankfully, even though Canada gets a hard time for their health system, I had an MRI. That was Sunday. I had an MRI Tuesday, and by Wednesday, I got the diagnosis of multiple
Wow.
sclerosis, lesions on my brain.
Mm.
So it was a hard blow. And I was 29 years old,
Okay.
and I was not even engaged. I was a single mom, and I had this boyfriend who would eventually become my husband. And I just felt like my world was upside down. And you would think then that I would have really gotten into living a healthy lifestyle.
Mm.
No, no, because you don't know what you don't know. I didn't
Yeah.
even know that I could control or have any dominion over my well-being just by what I eat and what I consume mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Like I
Did
never, I
you
would,
did you feel like you were in denial when you
I
first got the diagnosis?
I was angry. I was very
Okay.
angry. Like, what the heck? What, why? What?
Mm.
And I was 29 years old. I was
Mm.
just young.
A
And
spring chicken.
yeah. And of course, I feel that way now
You still
at
are.
all 55. But you think that'd be so many people get these diagnoses and they don't realize what an impact a healthy lifestyle will have on the outcome. But it took me another 10 years and two more babies for
Okay.
me to figure out that oh, this actually has a huge impact on my well-being, the quality of my life. And so when I was 37, 36, 36, I had a relapse. So 2004, or yeah, 2006, I had a relapse. And I I was in the hospital for a week with MS. I don't even remember what happened, like how I was feeling, but it was kind of after that. After that, though, I said, "Okay, if we're gonna have any more kids, we got to do it now." So we had our last hurrah, my daughter, who's gonna be 18 in January, and but then after that, once I had her, and I gained all this weight, I had 65 pounds. I gained. I'm still not thinking about living a healthy lifestyle. It still is not a reality for me,
Mm.
and so I had her and I had all this weight. Now, I had three babies before. I'd
Yeah.
never really held on to the weight, and this was not going anywhere. And so that was rough because, the older you get, the harder it is. I was 37 this time. So I started to my then husband, we got the kids a Wii that year.
Yeah.
First, he gave me a game. He said, this is it's only because you said you want to get into shape. Because I was like, you're giving me an exercise video? Are you kidding me?
A
For
game.
Christmas? Why don't you just put it next to the vacuum cleaner? I was not happy about it. But then
Mm.
I did say I wanted to get into shape. So I started to work out, but I quickly realized that the only time that I could have time for myself, and a lot of women can relate to this, I'm sure. So if you're
Mm.
listening, you hear, listen in.
Yeah.
I had to find time to make this happen because was starting to really understand I need to exercise. I want to lose the weight, but I also want to be healthy. Now I have this
Mm.
little baby, like a 6-year-old and a teenager. And so I realized the only time nobody wanted a piece of mommy was at 5 a.m. So I started getting up every morning to work out. I started getting up 5 a.m. 3 mornings a week to work out. But then I realized, wait, I don't just have to get up to work out. I can actually wake up early and have time just for me. So I did
Mm.
a devotional, I'd have my coffee, I'd have my oatmeal, and I would just really enjoy that space. And that I had no idea at the time what I was creating in my life, like
Yeah.
investing just that little bit of time for myself, an hour in the morning, and how that would ultimately change everything in my
Yeah.
health.
Can I bring you back to when the diagnosis happened? You're saying you're very angry and upset, and I'm just saying I remember when I went to the neurologist and he was just okay, we have to take away it's either a mess, either brain tumor, or you're either having an aneurysm, which of those things is.
Yeah.
And when he finally said, "Look, you don't have a mess, so you don't have to worry about being in a wheelchair," and that really stuck to me. I was just like, "What do you mean I don't have to worry about being in a wheelchair?" Like, hello, are you, this is me. Like, I'm not, of course, I'm not going to be in the wheelchair. But did
Yeah.
that ever come to your mind?
It's so funny you should say that because I had people actually say to me, "Oh, aren't you worried about ending up in a wheelchair?" And
Mm.
I remember thinking, "Are you worried about ending up in a wheelchair? Anyone can end up in a wheelchair. I mean,
Yeah.
you could go to the grocery store for a gallon of milk and get hit by a car and end up in a wheelchair. Like,
Yeah.
you can't." I did quickly. I give myself some credit.
Mm.
I quickly understood after that first month was rough. It was
Yeah.
rough because it's there's so little known about MS, but
Mm.
what you do know is you can go blind, you can become incontinent, you can end up in a wheelchair, you can. I was mostly worried about peeing my pants. It's so terrible. I don't
Yeah.
want to be incontinent. It just feels like insult to injury. But all these things, these horror stories of multiple sclerosis, yeah, it was so scary. And then, but then I thought, like, I was probably like that January. I can't live my life that way. It's kind of like when my
Mm.
son went to the Marine Corps. Like the first 24 hours, I was freaking out because you don't hear from them for 3 months unless they die, basically, or are on death's door. And so it was kind of that same thing. You had that come to Jesus moment where you're like, you know what? I can't do anything like, nothing I do is going to, in my mind, I'm not going to live my whole life worrying about being in a wheelchair,
Mm.
basically.
Yep. Yep.
That is such a waste of energy. I knew a woman who went through breast cancer and all she talked about was how scared she was about it coming back.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
thought, why are you focusing on not that on that and not the fact that you survived? You're
Yeah.
here to tell the tale.
Yeah.
you've got the rest of your life. And so, yeah, with that diagnosis of MS, it was pretty quick, and I was young and dumb and pretty self-centered, actually.
Well, you
And
got family
me, my
right
me.
there, which is great. You're like, let's do
Yeah,
this.
it was great. It was great. And so but it was understanding that anything can happen to anybody. Nothing is guaranteed.
No.
Nothing is guaranteed. I learned this watching Montel Williams, who ironically has MS, which I didn't know when I was watching this show. I don't watch talk shows, but this is when I was home. I was
Yeah.
off work because of recovering from the exacerbation, and they had these kids on there with diseases so rare that a lot of the diseases were named after those kids. And this
Wow.
one little girl, her body not only didn't have the ability to heal itself, it didn't have the ability to tell herself that she was sick or injured.
Wow.
So she ran into a table when she was like 5 years old, and like 4 days later, they had to amputate her leg because it turned gangrene
Oh, wow.
from a knock in the and so she was 18 years old. She had defied the odds of living, of surviving. And Montel said, "Aren't you afraid that just a paper cut can take you out?" She goes, anything can take any of us out at any time. So I appreciate the time I have while I'm here. I'm like, oh, that was from a kid. That was literally from a kid. So that really hit me between the eyes. And it was during that time. So I think that's what really kind of got me thinking about, you know what? I have to live my life. You have to live your life. You know
Yeah,
that. Like you just
absolutely.
have to carry on. But then
Mm.
I learned, oh wait, I do have some dominion, some control over the
Yeah.
outcome and how the quality of my life and things like that. So
So was
yeah.
putting yourself first there and waking up at 5 in the morning and doing those little routines for yourself, which
Yeah.
you like, that's where you ended up finding, right? This new pathway that you
Yeah.
could help yourself and in the process heal because you're full of energy, vitality, and light, which is awesome. And I think
Thanks.
it's such an encouraging to see, that's why I think for my audience, it would be great for them to see that it is possible. Our minds are very strong, and if we also give time to nurture
Yeah.
ourselves, we
Yes.
can actually see a change and we can live and thrive even with whatever condition we're living, right? It's not letting
Absolutely.
that define you. So, oh, I have MS. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I actually have a life, right? It's not allowing that to be your the label, right?
Yeah, that's not the end of my story. And
Absolutely.
I've become very careful about saying I don't have MS. I was
Hmm.
diagnosed with MS in
Yes.
1999.
Yes.
So I believe, words, they talk about words, spelling, words create spells. We create
Mm.
spells. We create our reality with the words we use.
Yeah.
Girl, I have had some traumatic things happen in my life, and I don't mean to like skim over them, but I've seen some things. I've experienced some things that, let's just say therapy has been a
Yeah.
big part of my life up until 50. But you have to decide to not be a victim. I
Mm.
think that's one of the biggest things, saying this, I am not going to be defined by this. And that's one of the
Absolutely.
biggest things for me. When people come to me, they've decided to no longer be a victim, to
Mm.
no longer feel bad about their situation, feel sorry for themselves. And we have compassion. I get it. I understand. I've been there. But you are not a victim. You are a victor. And it all
Yes.
depends on how you look at the situation and how
Yeah.
powerful that is. It's so
Exactly.
powerful. And that's
Yeah.
changed everything for me. And I know for you too, because you have, you deal with things that, oh, because your condition, I told you my sister and my mother
Yeah.
have that as well. And it just takes them out. And
Yeah.
my mother will do this now because she has Alzheimer's.
Mm.
So she's pretty nonverbal now, but
Mm.
she'll do this. And that's what she used to do when she'd have a
A little
spasm.
zap. Yeah. Yeah. The zap.
Yeah, the zap. And I said to my sister, "Do you think that's what it is?" She goes, "I don't know." I was like, "I'm pretty sure it is."
Mm.
Like that was exactly. And my sister, thankfully, hers has been in remission for a few years now.
That's good.
Um, so yeah, but it's yeah, no, it's we all have our crosses to bear. But that's
Mm.
why I'm so thankful. Like every morning, I start with gratitude.
Yeah.
Every single morning, my legs are working. Thank you, God. I can hold my pee. Thank you, God. And
Yeah.
then I tootle off to the restroom.
That's it. That's it. That's very true. Can
It's
you
the
bring us
small
now, Mo, and explain a little bit about your five pillar method? Because I think it kind of ties into all of this, right? This is what you created from your
yeah.
own lessons, your own life story.
Yes, I was. It's funny because I was just thinking about this the other day. It was during pandemic, and I was actually it was just before the pandemic happened, and I was asked to be on this my first time going on a summit of health, and I don't remember where I met this woman, and so I was listening to this thing on my Calm app. Meditation has been a huge
Mm,
part of my life and my growth, and there's this guy, this doctor. I can't remember his name right now, but he has these four pillars of health.
hmm
And I created from that, I created my own similar, but the five pillars of health is a kind of blend of his work and Precision Nutrition, which is the company through which I am certified as a health coach, nutrition coach. And so it's first one. So the five pillars is something what I build everything on. We have five areas of our life. There's other things like environment and things like that, but it kind of these five pillars kind of encompass everything. So first one is time management and mindset. I always put those two together because it's how we see our life, how we spend our energy, how we frame things is going to directly impact the quality of our day-to-day life. And that's why I always have my calendar right here. I have my paper calendar with all my major events
mm.
um, right here so I can at a glance see what I have. So, you're on here for today. And and I can direct my energy into what I actually want to do. How many of us get pulled into the doom scrolls and
Mm,
the mindless or TV watching or just this just the things that just don't serve our well-being. Do I like to watch podcasts or listen to podcasts? Yes, I do. But I have times of the day where I allow myself to do that. And I've created rules in my life, boundaries saying like, okay, after I meditate and pray, after I've
mm,
had my water and water, then I can have my coffee and then I can listen to my podcast and I do that while I'm making breakfast in the morning. So you come up with these little, it's like a little reward. It's like, yay. So that's like, so having those, like you're having a handle on how you spend your energy and how you manage your time through the day is really tied to how you see the world.
hmm
Because again, if you're always living in a victim mindset, you're going to be spending time not doing things that are good for your well-being. You're just not. You're gonna be spinning your wheels a lot on things that just don't matter. Because the
hmm
only thing that matters is ends at the end of your fingertips, like what you have control over, I should say. Like, of course, our community, our relationships, those matter wonderfully. But the only thing we actually have control over is ourselves, our thoughts,
Yeah.
words, and deeds. That's it. And so everything else is beyond our control. We have influence, but when you understand that, you can start living a life as a victor. And then so the next thing is nutrition. What are you putting in your face?
hmm
And so what are we eating? And I love, 'cause I just had a friend of mine say the other day, I know I have to get healthy, but I want to eat healthy all the time. And so I did a Facebook Live the other day. I was like, you don't it's the 80-20 rule.
hmm
80% of the time, eat real food, drink your water, eat your fruit, veggies, protein, protein, protein. And then the rest is gummy bears. The rest is like fun food, ice cream or a glass of wine or whatever your jam is. And so
Yeah.
it's about that balance. So nutrition and then really developing a healthy relationship with food.
hmm
And then the third pillar is stress management. So, and that's where you kind of go into yourself, like you're like understanding what makes you tick. What triggers you? And we throw that word around a lot, but there are things that shut us down.
Yeah.
And it can be really subtle. So developing a relationship with yourself, a nurturing relationship with yourself is so key in a healthy lifestyle because relationships are so like your family, your community, your business, your clients I it's everything like
Yeah,
how we
absolutely.
commune.
hmm
And we've lost so much connectivity, so relationship is so much, but we never focus on the relationship with ourselves. We can live with ourselves for the rest of our lives. We can't go on vacation from ourselves. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's at the bottom of a bottle of wine or something, but you're still there. You can't escape you. And that's a good thing because when you start to really understand and treat yourself like a most precious loved one, doing those small acts every
Mm.
day, the small, tiny acts of love for yourself, that's when you really start to develop that relationship of respect for yourself,
Yeah.
which makes it easier to eat foods that nourish you, that to read things that embolden and inspire you, to so having that relationship is huge. And then the fourth pillar is movement. Like
Mm.
get up and move. So throughout the day I set a timer. If I'm just doing like on my marketing days, I set a timer for every 25 minutes to get up and move for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I tell my
Pomodoro
little,
method, isn't it?
it is, yes, Pomodoro is the best. And
Absolutely.
so yeah, for me it works. Sometimes 55 and 10, I'll do that too. But if I have more stuff, I don't want to break up so much. But it's so great because I'll come up to my desk and I have my little robot over there and I'll say, set a 25-minute get up and move your butt timer. And then when that goes off, I was like, okay, stop what you're doing, or finish a sentence or whatever. And then I'll say, and then I'll say, set a 5-minute time to get back to service timer.
Mm.
And because I used to call it work, but I like service better. I like being in service. And then the
Mm.
last, so getting movement throughout the day is huge. And because sitting is new smoking. That's
Yeah.
such a truism.
Hmm.
And then the last one is sleep and recovery. Like letting your body rest, letting your mind, body, and soul rest. Saturday mornings, I always think Saturday mornings are just slow and easy. And I'll drink my water first, but I'll have my coffee and I'll do my Wordle. It's not rushed. I love my weekend time because it's not, Monday to Friday, I'm on. Let's do this. But my Friday and my Saturday and Sunday are more, loose and easy breezy. And it's nice to have that recovery time, and so
Yeah.
you're sharpening your tools. So those
Mm.
are the five pillars of health. And I feel like it can be overwhelming sometimes because you don't want to tackle it all at once. But when nutrition, drink an 8-ounce glass of water before you have your coffee in the morning.
Mm.
That counts as nutrition. Add a vegetable into one meal a day. Just one, just to start. Get up and move
Yeah.
every 25 minutes for 5 minutes. Just go for a 5-minute walk to the mailbox and back, whatever is going to work with you. Just find that 5 minutes in the day. 5-minute actions are huge because
Yeah.
that's such an easy thing to build on. And so people think like, oh, living, I don't want to redo my life. I'm like, you don't have to. It's
Mm.
very simple. And like when you're eating, you're going to eat anyway. So slow down, taste
Yeah.
it, enjoy it, be present with it, sit at a table, make it a big deal because you're
Mm.
special and you're worth it. And that's really what it comes down to use the worthy.
Oh,
We're worthy
absolutely.
of that love. We're worthy of that special attention that we would give a most precious loved one.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's changed my life.
And
And
what I
it's not,
can hear there as well, Mo, is that you have that connection with yourself, with your
yeah,
body, with your mind, and you freaking love yourself. I know you have a little quote that says that, and I think it's so
really do.
important. Where
Yes.
is it? I need to get one of those, but I think that is
I have
so
to send you
important.
one.
Yeah, because we forget
I know. Wait,
ourselves.
I know. I have it right here. But yeah, this is an
Yes.
I give these out to, I just need to buy these in bulk
You
because,
do, you do. But it's such a
because,
powerful reminder because we
yeah,
forget that we are important and busy moms, especially if you have health problems and challenges,
yeah.
we can put ourselves in the back burner and you feel like, oh, there's so much to do. But like you
Mm,
showed with your own life, I gave myself more time. I made myself, that 5 o'clock, starting with that, and then giving myself more and feeling more energized. And then from there, cultivating better habits and starting to listen to your body. And I think that is
yeah,
fundamental and changing that perspective, like you said, we're changing from the victim mentality to the victor mentality and says, yes, what can I get from this? What's helping? How can I serve? What can I do today? Or I get to be living
yeah,
today. I get to walk today. I get to go to the
I get
bathroom without having the
yeah,
incontinency. Those are small but such powerful things because I can relate so much to all that you're saying. That's
yes,
been my decision as well in my life to put
I love it.
myself first in a way but putting God first. So God
Yes,
comes, like you're saying, your time with Him, my time with Him, and letting Him renew my spirit and renew my strength so that I can come and do this. Like even today, I got up and got dressed, and it was like 4 o'clock. My call was at 5. So my husband's like, "Oh, you're up." I was like, "Yeah, I made my bed and I'm dressed, ready for the day." But it doesn't matter. That's what my body needed, and that's okay. But it's
Yeah.
being able to listen to that, which is important.
It's so, and I love how you said decision. That's the decision I've made. And I also
Mm,
want to clarify, I was a victim for years.
mm,
Um, why, with my ex-husband, who we still have a very good working relationship, which is great. I
good.
just can't be married to him. And, and so, but I I'm so glad that we did that because it's shoot, I lost my train of thought. Decision, living as a victim. For years, I always focused on why can't he love me? Why doesn't he
Mm,
appreciate me? Why poor me, poor me, poor me? Never realizing, first of all, girl, you're allowing the behavior. You're not doing
mm,
anything to change it. You're not changing your own behavior. Well, you can't change his behavior. That was a big thing. Like
yeah.
I remember my therapist saying, like, sounds like you want him to be someone different. Because I always said he wanted me to be someone different. I was like, oh, dang. Yeah, that is true. So it can be a little harsh sometimes, but when you get out of that victim mentality, it's so liberating.
Yeah.
It's so freeing because then everything that happens in your life, oh yeah, my bad.
Mm,
Because, and that's probably the, two powerful words, but you're like, yeah, I did that.
mm,
Okay, so how can I fix it?
yeah.
It's not about guilt, not shame. One of the taglines in my group is no shame, no blame, just a place to reframe. So you're like,
Mm,
I'm not interested in blaming. I'm not interested in pointing fingers. Like, how can we fix this? That's it. That's it. And so I don't get into those conversations. I don't get in political conversations. I don't get
mm,
any of that because I'm like, well, how can we fix it?
yeah.
Although I have had to learn, I have this on my computer. It's so old now. I had to write over again, but it says, keep asking questions, don't jump to solutions. I'm such a guy like that. I'm like, when
Ah,
people say, "Oh, I've got swelling in my ankle," first thing I was like, "Okay, you need to elevate. Do
mhm.
you have a bag of peas?" Okay, and then I'll go back to the top of my text and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." It's not that
Yes.
I don't care, but I want to know how to
Solutions.
fix it right away.
I
So
so understand that. Oh my God. Well, this has been such an amazing conversation. I'm enjoying it so much.
this
What
is
could
so
be,
fun.
well, two questions before we leave.
Okay.
But what is something that you can leave to our audience that if you give them like encouragement or a to do that will help them, what would it be?
Um, well, as I always say, is your best health is closer than you think. It's not out there. It's not at the end of some, well, okay, it is at the end. It's in my program, but it's not something that you need to chase. Like you have everything inside of you right now. It starts with how you view the world, how you view your
Mm,
health, how you view your body. We're always going to find things to complain about, but you know that you have that power. You can start this morning. You can start the morning with 8 ounces of water just to hydrate after dehydrating all night. Add a vegetable in. Get up and walk around. If you've been sitting for over an hour, just get up and stretch your legs.
mm,
Get out and move somewhere.
exactly.
It's these little tiny practices and they stack up. It's like little beads, like a bracelet, these just one at a time. One is okay, but when you start to put them together, you have this beautiful kind of circle of well-being
Mm,
and you really start to understand why you're important. I had, like I said, when I did these acts of love for myself, I wrote a poem actually years ago. It's called The Love of My Life. I'm looking over here because I saw it there the other day. And it was when I discovered that I actually love myself. I didn't love myself for years from guilt and shame and things that I had done. And when you it was like a light went on and it's God. God was at the other side of that door. You don't have to have faith. It helps
hmm
in understanding that, everything's working out for your highest good.
Yeah.
But you can do it just through small actions. And then you come to almost a divine way of being. Because when you're
Mm,
acting in faith and love and not fear and loathing, it it just shifts things on a cellular level in your body. So just before all that happens, have a glass of water. Switch out one
small.
sweet drink. for
Exactly.
some, so hydrate. It's like honor yourself. Start
Mm.
by honoring yourself, treating yourself like a most precious loved one. I know that was a lengthy answer.
Yeah, that's
There's
great.
many things, but the whole thing is it's treating yourself like that most precious loved one.
Yeah.
And like you were your child or an ailing friend.
For
You would
sure.
be there for them. And then you had it. What was the other question?
Yeah. And now, how can people work with you?
Oh, well, timewithcoachmo.com is
Hmm.
my is for 20-minute free consultation. So many people come to me and I'm like, okay, this is what you need to do. You need to go here. And I say I'm the Santa Claus of health coaches
Ooh.
because like in Miracle on 34th Street,
Yeah.
the kids would come to us like if they didn't have it, he would send them where they were. So more than a few people have come to me and are like, okay, I can't help you with that, but I do know someone, and I'm not
Mm.
getting kickbacks or anything. I just want people to be healthy. I
Yes.
just want them to do, maybe it would be with me, but I just want them to be healthy, like go out in the world and understand how to make that happen. So I love helping people understand how precious they are in love. So 20 minutes, timewithcoachmo.com, and I'd love to sit down with you and see what you need to do. Sometimes it's just a few little tweaks. And I
That's
also
it.
have, I don't know if I sent you my 5-minute morning reset for busy women. I sent
Oh,
you that
awesome. Perfect.
resource as well. If you're going to put that in the show notes, that'd be
I
great.
will. I'll put it,
Yeah.
Mo. Thank you so much. We're running out of time, but I'm so
Yes.
grateful to have you here. And please do connect, guys, with Mo, and I'll put all the details in the show notes afterwards. And we're so grateful to have you. May you have a blessed week. Until next time, God bless.
Thank you so much. God bless you too.
This was the Michele Roys Show.